one, we can just zoom in a bit. Right, you're not in.
Not now we're too far in.
Let's try this. Right, so we can just do that slightly.
Now then.
Hang on. We haven't started yet.
Now then.
Now then.
Now then. Now then. Now then.
Howdly doodly do.
Hello there, Boots Owen here.
Yeah, we're having a grand time.
I'm Boots Owen. This is Andy Reynolds at the InfoWorks.
Yes, and you're at Boots Owen.
At Boots Owen.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Right.
TikTok and Instagram.
Yes, and we were here 6, 8, 10, 12 months ago, something like that, talking
Maybe.
about self-reliance and how many washing machines you should have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I was up in the frozen north earlier on in the year, and I dropped in to see Owen. And the thing that I was quite enthused about, I think enthused is the word, is that even though he lives in town, would you say you live in town?
Yeah, I live in the city.
In the city, yeah. He's still taking on board a lot of the self-reliance issues, like there's a big stack of firewood, there's more solar panels than you can shake a pointed stick at, there's a bit of a veg plot, there's recycling of materials and fixing stuff. So
there's the hoard.
There's the hoard, yeah, the possibilities hoard.
You can't see, Andy's tidied up here, so if you look behind us, it looks like a workshop now. There's only 2 battery chargers over there. There used to be 22.
Well, or something like that.
52.
Yes.
Being generous. Don't know which way I'm being generous.
There's a quote from Hunter S. Thompson in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas about when you get into a serious collection, you got to know when to stop.
Yeah, we haven't reached that point yet.
No.
Andy's winding down, I think.
I'm realizing, or I'm trying to realize, what is enough. Yeah. Whereas Owen, he's like 30 years younger than me.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. So he's still on the upward, whereas I'm on the that's what the downhill looks like.
On the spiral.
On the there's a song about over the hill. Yeah, and we're on that slope. But one of the things was, it just goes to prove that wherever you live, you can live sustainably as possible. And in my book, I do actually say off-grid is in your head.
Yeah, well, neither one of us is off-grid officially.
No.
We both burn petrol or diesel in cars. We both have a cable coming from the electric supply. Both on the internet. Both got mains water.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we can't have on-grid or off-grid solar, rainwater harvesting, firewood, even in the city.
Yeah.
And ride a bicycle or walk whenever you can to balance out the necessity of using the car.
And the bicycle and walking is a lot easier for you than for me.
Yeah, and the firewood's a lot easier for you.
Right.
You know, that's the balance. You go out the back and look at firewood standing up.
That's right.
I have to envy my neighbour's firewood and wait until I hear. That's how I get it. You hear the pulse of a chainsaw in the distance locally in the city, and you go straight over and ask the tree surgeons, is this lot going with you or is it staying with me? And they'll tell you straight away.
Right.
Some of them will drop it off on the drive.
Ooh, even better.
Or on the doorstep. And perfect. Then you've got to deal with that. So yeah.
So wherever you live, you can apply these basic principles.
Yeah.
Of like reducing. Well, it's reducing your impact on the area or the country around you, and trying to be as resilient as possible. Because energy resilience, it's going to be increasingly more and more important. Yeah, and several of the courses I've run recently, it becomes very obvious that the time of plenty has gone.
Yeah, I maybe I'll disagree with you.
Go
Maybe
on
I
then.
won't.
Yeah.
Once you start doing it for yourself, you don't give a fuck what other people are doing. So
Yeah.
all summer long, we had too much electricity.
Right.
Now that's fine. We don't have as much in the winter, but it means you're not paying for it all summer, so you can have more in the winter.
Yeah.
And you balance things out that way. So, because ultimately, I've had this conversation with people before. People said, "Oh, and you're too interested in money." I said, "Well, I'm not really. I'm interested in having just enough money that my bank account's always in the black. But money, the unit of currency, whatever unit it is, it's a very good way of measuring something."
What, measuring value?
Well, not necessarily value, but just measuring generally. You can understand. If I told you something cost 20 quid, you can
Yeah.
weigh up 20 quid as so many carrots, so many pints of diesel,
Yeah.
whatever the thing is. You can balance it out that way. Whereas if you're trying to trade, going down a silly comparison here, but carrots for diesel,
Yeah.
you're ultimately in your head going to bring it back to the market value of those things.
Exactly.
And that is money. That's
Yeah.
the money
Yeah.
is the market value.
Yes.
So if you think about energy in terms of money, and a few winters ago it all doubled,
Yeah.
people were pissed off and scared, and I wasn't.
No, neither was I.
I had firewood as a backup. Mains gas coming to the house,
Yeah.
but firewood, and just burned firewood all winter. And that was easy.
Yeah, and when all that happened, several people around here went, "It's all right for you. You future-proofed your place."
Yeah, but you future-proofed it 20, 30 years ago.
Exactly. Oh,
You don't-
that was
yeah.
the start of the process. Yes.
There's no timber that I'm going to burn this winter, or you're going to burn this winter, that you didn't sort out 2 or 3 years ago.
Exactly.
You can't. Now you can go out and this is what we started on in the city. City is full of pallets.
Yeah.
There's pallets everywhere once you open your eyes. You can take pallets in, but you'll need 1 pallet a day to keep 1 room warm.
At least.
At least,
At
yeah.
least, I would say 5.
5, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of heating a house, they're so light, and when they're properly dry, there's no mass, no calories in them. But that's a digression. But it's just to illustrate the point that it's on your doorstep, whether you're in the country or in the city. There's something you can do.
Well, that is it, and it's like, one of my bugbears is, do you spend all of your time going to work, and then have to spend a fortune on everything else because you don't have any time, or do you at some point make that balance and husband your resources? Don't spend it. That way, a bit further down the track, you can be debt free.
And that's something that, I don't know, society has distanced, because whenever you start talking to people, you can see the volume goes down straight away. Maybe that's just me generally, but if you start talking to people about the time that they spend at work and the time that they spend for work, preparing, getting to work, commuting, whatever it is, and dropping kids off so that they can go to work. If you present them with that's an amount of time, and you're trading that for exactly what you take home in your paycheck, there's no extra something. You might get a pizza once a month from work or something like that, but really, that's a cheap pizza for work.
Yes.
You can look very quickly at how much you earn per hour, and a lot of people will earn a lot less than they think they earn per hour.
Exactly, because you're only paid for that time there. Yeah. And of course, 10 years down the track, you're still in the same situation. You think, what? Further on, Whereas, at my point, I'm reflecting, and when I chat to people, I naturally tell stories about what I've done in the past, and I've had such a diverse set of experiences that you can actually you can rejoice in it, but husbanding your resources so you become debt free, not wanting stuff, and knowing what's enough is the sort of pathway to freedom.
Yeah, and I've seen friends of mine take on board, friends and people I don't know, and for people who've become friends through it, they see something, especially solar panels seem to stick out like a sore thumb, and then people want to talk about them, and you can get talking, and some people just go straight over their heads, and some people you can just see there's a twinkle and they get going from there. And you've seen it more than once as well, between wind turbines and solar panels and whatnot. I suppose where I'm listening to the conversation that we're having is that we're not here to preach. We don't care if you do anything. Whoever's watching this video out in the ether.
Hi there.
Hi there, internet. We don't care if you want to be more environmentally sustainable or self-sufficient tricky term, but self-reliant.
Yeah.
Perhaps it doesn't make any difference to us, but it does after a few years of thinking about it and doing something. It makes a huge difference once it starts to come back to you, and you've seen it after 40, 50, 60 years of thinking about it and doing little bits. Your car breaks down, you don't go straight to a garage. You look at the car and you think, what's wrong with you, car? Can I do this?
Yeah. Eric O from, was it South Main Auto, goes, if I can do it, you can do it. Yeah. There's a lot of people. I was at the book fair, Peterborough Radical Book Fair last week, was it? Something like that. And there's a couple of people there, and I was chatting away, and they go, oh, I'm not technical, oh, I can't do that, I'm not practical. And I was going, you are practical, it's just that there's something in your head stopping you. Yeah. And that learning of practical skills is not a here, there, it's a lifetime.
Yeah. And there's loads of things that I don't want to do. Whether it's learning how to do, I can't think of what it is now, but probably blanked it out of my mind. There's lots of things that I don't want to do, but then there's other things that spark an interest, and those are the directions I will go in terms of self-reliance. Living where I live, we don't have as much space, so growing vegetables is trickier. So you've got to focus on things that you're just interested in doing, rather than having a big allotment full of lots of things. But I'm interested in chopping firewood. I just find that to be good exercise and something really tangible. When you've stacked a pile of firewood after a day of chopping it, you can really see that you've done a lot of work.
Right, and
it stands up there, and that appeals to my nature.
Yeah, and it's a good store of future energy, isn't it?
That too, yeah.
Yeah. So all of that sort of stuff, as Owen says, we're not preaching, we're just saying, hey, yeah, if you're going to work all the time, you don't have to stop going to work now, but you can have a plan. Yeah. And me personally, I've had what I call a portfolio career. So therefore it's been author, YouTube, forestry consultant, chainsaw instructor, this, that and the other, joiner, yeah.
Whereas I'm the opposite. I went to university, straight out of school, did 10 or 15 years at work for one organisation in pretty much one job, and about 6 months into that job realised I wasn't going to do that forever. But instead of chopping and changing and trying to find another job, I realised quite early on that jobs generally weren't going to do it for me.
Nah.
So I plotted a course to self-reliance, I suppose you'd
freedom.
say. Freedom, but that you can get enough money in, but really it's more about not letting money go out and figuring that one out. And everybody, load the comments up below with all the reasons why we're wrong and why you can't do it, and then come back to me and think, actually no, Owen's done it, so I'll just laugh at all the comments. Sorry.
Well, I can understand some people because they have been trained to and almost like brainwashed to think along a consumerist pathway.
Yeah.
But you can break free of that. Yeah. Another thing I want to talk about, Owen, is batteries. We're going sideways now.
Going sideways. Andy said 6 months or 12 months or something ago. It was at least 3 years ago we had the conversation about what, for a sensible man, sensible person out there, what is a sensible amount of washing machines to have as a, for contingency and resilience.
Yeah. 3.
When we concluded with 3, although Andy still has 1 with a kind of a spare dangling around.
No, there's 2 more under the pile.
There's 2 hidden ones, okay. Yeah. So they're ready to go if you need be. And the logic is that if one breaks, you have another one ready to go. And because it's been sitting around forever, it might not work, but the second one probably will. Whereas I work a different way and I have 3 machines just plumbed in all the time. So there's never been a loss of service. And that comes with space. And like, you're blessed for space out here, but you don't have them all plumbed in. Whereas I'm tighter on space. They just sit under a worktop in a cellar and they just are ready to go.
A cellar.
Cellars, yeah. And so that's about picking, we're going backwards and sidewards here, but that's just about making decisions based on what the future might hold.
Exactly. And so, we've been discussing recently, along with my friend Lee, about the size of battery banks. And considering that lithium iron phosphate is so delightful compared to lead acid, right? I mean, it really is. Yeah. I've had forklift batteries for 25, 30 years, and you've got to work them and you've got to maintain them, and suddenly you get these lithium iron phosphate and you put power in and it comes out.
So we're talking about this in the context of a home energy storage solution or a home energy storage system,
Yeah.
where probably solar panels generate power and you store it somewhere until you need it. But it could be that what a lot of people are doing now is there's cheap energy tariffs depending on how much the wind blows in the country that you're in, and the energy companies will pay you to take it away. And if you have batteries, you can take more away in anticipation of using it later.
Yeah.
So that frames it maybe. But Andy, you started off with lead, I'm going to say 40 years ago. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 40
Yeah.
years ago. Forklift batteries, which was the only thing available at the time in terms of battery technology, I think.
Yeah, and you know, they were available in scrapyards, and they wouldn't do an 8-hour shift, right? So
Yeah.
therefore they moved on, but there were still ones that would
Yeah.
hold a charge and are quite good. But it's really, and I had like 2 tons of lead acid batteries. I mean, 3 packs, and they're just
It's enough to charge your phone for half an hour, wasn't it?
so now I just, we've been talking about how big should a battery bank be,
Yeah.
right? And so the balance is, of course, in the summer, it doesn't matter so much, because, like, for instance, the battery bank here was fully charged by 11 o'clock virtually every day.
Yeah.
Okay, but in winter it's different, and of course they were fully charged on a big solar system, 30 panels, and a turbine.
You need a few more panels. I think I'm up to 39.
Yeah, well, that's just the battery side. Yes. Rule 1 goes, there's no such thing as too many solar panels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so, but we use about 8 kilowatt hours every 24 hours. Yeah. So I'm thinking that because the batteries are so good and efficient, that really, 16 kilowatt hours or 20 kilowatt hours should be good enough, because most days you will get some charge, unless of course it's really grey. Yeah. So Owen reckons he wants 100.
I was kind of joking on that, but I think at the moment we've got about 20 kilowatt hours of battery storage. We started off with kind of one with lead gel cells when I was just dipping my toes in, and I realised quite soon that lead gel was not the answer to a daily cycling of battery power. So I got £1,200 worth of Pylon Tech batteries, and this is the whole thing I was talking about. If you have time, you don't need money. But once you don't have time, if you're in a rush, you've got to pay for whatever it is you want. So I, for some reason, felt like I was in a rush and went out and spent 1,200 quid on a good battery. And it was a good battery, and it's still a good battery. But as soon as I had one battery, I was visiting a scrapyard, and a guy said to me, I know where there's another battery you might be interested in, because they can't get rid of lithium batteries in the scrapyard. And I said, okay, and had a look and shook hands with a different person and took a battery away, and it was 10 kilowatt hours, and it wasn't working, and it was flat. But a new battery management system and 6 months of learning and scratching your head and soldering and whatnot, and I know a little bit more about batteries now, and I'm not afraid to cut them open with an angle grinder.
Exactly. I mean, it's amazing, because like 3 years ago, Owen was scared of lithium ion batteries. Now, his recent video fixing a Pylon Tech battery. Yeah, well done.
You can go for it.
Yeah.
But like, I followed the same narrative that everybody who's watching this will say, that lithium batteries are dangerous. That's what you've been told. You can't throw them in the bin because the bin lorry will go on fire. And there will be one video of a bin lorry on fire on the internet, and there'll be another video of someone hammering a nail through a lithium cell. It'll be a lithium ion standard cell.
Yeah.
But I've spent, I don't know, it was a few years ago when reusable vaping cigarettes were on, the e-cigarettes were everywhere on the ground, the disposable ones, and every one had a cell, and they weren't going on fire. They were in every dustbin in cities all over, and they don't just go on fire, and they're the dangerous ones. So you decide what you're at. We all sit on a tank full of petrol doing 70 miles an hour, and don't seem to see any harm in that.
Well, in that Frontera, not only petrol, but had this huge 120 litres of LPG right behind the seat.
Yeah.
I'm still alive, by the way.
Yeah, and so am I, and I've cut batteries open with angle grinders, and I've had more bad luck with angle grinders with not cutting batteries, but that's different stories. Yeah.
So what I'd like everybody to comment about this, not only about what we've been talking about, but also this, like, the batteries are a buffer between your generation and your usage. So how much battery storage should you have in relationship to your kilowatt hour consumption per 24 hours?
Yeah.
We need a rule of thumb.
Well, so my thought on this, to give a real answer, we're burning about 15 kilowatt hours, so almost twice what you're burning a day, and that's just because there's more people in the house, basically. I think probably more of everything happening,
and more washing, and
more laundry, just more, mostly laundry, I suppose. But we have like a dishwasher that you don't run a dishwasher. Things like that use another kilowatt hour every day. I reckon in summer, 10 is probably enough. You only need enough to get you over the night, and then you're into the next day.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay.
10 is probably loads. But in winter, what do you want to achieve? Do you want to run the whole winter?
There's no chance.
There's no chance. You can't top it up. So unless you top it up in the summer and then somehow hold that energy, and I think lithium iron phosphate might hold it 6 months.
I think you're right.
They might hold it, as long as you don't have a dud battery, but you shouldn't if you keep an eye on them. You know, then say you could have 1,000 kilowatt hours of battery storage, it might get you over the winter, and it would gradually decrease.
Yeah.
Now that's silly, 1,000 kilowatt hours of battery, but once these pylon tech units and other old car batteries start coming online for free, as
this
they seem to
be. Lithium iron phosphate car batteries.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're rare enough.
Yeah.
But anyways, I've got a utility vehicle one, so they do exist.
Oh yeah.
Once they start coming online for basically free money, it doesn't really matter how many you have. It's more about space.
Yeah, I mean, there's this whole thing about you could have and I've experienced it. You have a huge battery, but you have insufficient generation to charge it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that fine balance. I mean, personally, I think 3 times the average 24-hour consumption is a good place to start, and then you can always add.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't be hung on a number.
No.
Infinity was my last answer. I think I'll stay with infinity.
But there's one more thing about these lithium iron phosphate batteries that is very important, and Sim 666 or 66 pointed this out to me on a video, and I did some research. So with a lithium iron phosphate, you don't want to charge above 90%, and you don't want to discharge below 20%. Okay, so effectively you're taking 30% off its capacity.
Yeah.
So a 5 kilowatt hour battery is only a 3.5 kilowatt hour battery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got to factor that in as well. I mean, I've got, what have I got? 30,
but you're calling it 20.
I'm calling it
that's
20.
The third off there.
Yeah. And I've set the Victron battery inverter to switch over to the mains above a certain load, and also if the battery voltage goes below X, so which equates to about 20-25%, whereas Owen has got a grid battery system.
I've got an energy storage system which you control based on, how do I do it? Percentage and discharge rate.
Yeah.
So the charge rates, you can set the charge rate as well, but you might as well set it to max in my case.
Yeah.
But you can set the discharge rate to let the power out slowly, and that means that it'll cover the fridge and the freezer and light loads like lighting and stuff like that. But if a kettle comes on, it doesn't really interact with it. But the system I have, the ESS system, works with the mains, so it'll take some load from the batteries through the inverter and some load from the mains, and that way you don't really have to think about it quite as much. You just say, do your thing and run the battery down to whatever percentage you set. Yeah,
and that's Victron ESS system. So that's a more modern system.
Yeah.
And but because we started in the mid-80s. Yeah, we've quite got an esoteric system.
Yeah, but my system's made up out of bits of wire dangling from the ceiling as well. You know,
Right.
it depends on where you're getting your bits. Like what I found particularly, going back to the start of the conversation, and time
Right.
versus money, and being in a rush to do a job, if you need to go out and buy a pair of battery cables, they're going to cost you 20-25 quid.
Yeah.
But if you can look at what you've got and take a piece of copper pipe and hammer it into the shape of a connector and drill a hole in it, and then couple it onto an old meter tail from a consumer unit that you found in a skip,
yeah,
that's a cable, and it took you half an hour to make, and it probably took you months to find it and keep it, even though you didn't know you were going to use it later. But it was all free, and it's a time versus money, and it's an attitude shift as well. Because if you think your new battery needs to have new cables, you're stuck buying a new car every 3 years.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
This is the possibilities hoard. Huh? You have stuff that you know you're going to use at some point, right? Yeah. And of course, that other video, we did get to the point with how long do you keep stuff?
Well, and we haven't bottomed that one out yet. Depends on how much you love your loved ones. I think before we wrap this up, we have some very important things to talk about. One of them is tractors. Andy has 3 tractors. There's a Kubota, there's an International, and there's a Leyland, or a what? What's the other one?
There's a small International and a big International.
2 Internationals and a Kubota. Yeah. Now, one of those tractors is orange. The other one is a shade of orangey, rusty brown.
Right.
And the last one is kind of red.
Yeah.
Tractors are very important because they boost the algorithm if we mention tractors over batteries. Likewise, we've spoken about washing machines, but it's important to remember that washing machines are generally, in the UK, white in colour. Right. So I just want to put that information in there so that the algorithm can pick it up.
Right, yeah. Hi, algorithm. I'm not sure what you do, and I don't think anybody else does, right? But tractors, washing machines, sawmills.
Sawmills do well as well, do they? Yeah, and chainsaws and things like that. You can't predict what will do well, but you got to ride a wave when you can catch it.
Right, yeah. And I mean, I do this personally because I've been doing it for 15 or more years, and it is sharing the information.
Yeah.
And the little bit I get from YouTube, and it is quite small, it pays my road tax once a year.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. So
the important thing though is, like, whenever I tell people about solar panels, a lot of people aren't interested, and that's fine. And the conversation will wrap itself up. But the way the internet seems to work is you can put information out there that you don't think will be useful to anyone, but you know it was useful to you. I remember one of the early videos I put up was out my Volkswagen Transporter doing the cam belt on it.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't find the information anywhere, puzzled it out from different snippets of forums and stuff and some photos that I managed to find online, cobbled together a video, and that video, people actually watched it and thought and commented saying, this got me going on this. I've either done it or I'm going to do it, and this video is the basis for me figuring this one out. No, they didn't have to do any figuring really because it'd been handed to them, but that's fine. It doesn't matter as long as somebody else fixes a car because of me, or a washing machine, chainsaw, tractor,
grid inverter,
whatever the thing is, that pushes the world forward. And you do that for free, but there's a balance there as well.
There is, and I take deep joy in the fact that it is anti-corporate, because they want you to be a slave. They want you to be absolutely hopeless and helpless, so they can prey on you. So we're putting the information out there to stop you being slaves.
Yeah, and to think about what you're getting yourself into as well. There's a guy, Lewis Rossman, over in America, and well, I wonder about people on the internet. Sometimes you wonder, would you actually get along with them if you sat down to chat to them?
Yeah.
But I can agree with some of his stuff, and what he talks about is right to repair. He talks a lot about that, and he absolutely tears into companies who put after the fact paywall systems on things. So you've bought it, it works, you take a software download because that's what you do for a thing, and then suddenly you've got to pay, and there's you're only one step away from Victron doing it or someone else, and you just hope that they won't.
Exactly, because the Victron are very good in a lot of ways. Yeah, I mean, I've hammered them a bit on some of their charge controllers, the fact that you can't get into them. Yeah. Right.
And that's again, it's a right to repair thing. You can't. They've put so much epoxy potting compound around the thing that you can't get at the circuit board to fix it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
What do you do? And then, like, I get it. It's a balancing act from their point of view, because if they want to make a marine grade thing, water can never get into it. But that means it's a throwaway item. But this Rossmann stuff, what he's talking about, is something that just stops working even though it isn't broken because you won't pay a subscription every month. And that's a complete racket. So you've got to figure out how to get away from all that.
Yeah.
Just buy stuff or find stuff that you can fix yourself and fix it, get it going, keep it going.
So it's down to knowing, and so YouTube is brilliant at putting that idea in your head. Yeah. We're going to leave it there, I think.
I think we will waffle all day long.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
If we're on the phone, one of us has to go, that's enough.
Yeah.
Right. Catch up with you soon. Do comment, please. Share this video. Spread the word that it's a way to freedom.
Yeah. Find one thing that you think could make your life easier. Financially, efficiency-wise, sustainability-wise, doesn't matter. Something that you can look back on in 6 months' time and think, yeah, I know how to change a light bulb. Genuinely, because I didn't know anything about a lot of things before I started looking at them. Start with something small. Take the filter out of your washing machine because there might be money in it.
Yeah,
it's worth looking at. Just oftentimes there's money in there, especially if you're that kind of person who keeps changing your pockets.
Right.
Take the filter out, look at it, clean it out, put it back in, and you've done a task. Check out my other videos to see how to do it. It's not hard, but you'll know then that that's 90% of washing machine problems you know how to solve. Yeah. Likewise, change a light bulb on your car. Cut my wrist open yesterday trying to do exactly that. Needed a YouTube video to find out how you get even into the bloody light bulb.
So that is a corporate thing. You're supposed to be able to change a lot. Sorry, we're going to leave it there.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers. Bye now.
Very
do you
good.
know what? I think that's an absolute stormer.
Very good. What do you think? 100 views?